Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome to a brand new video. So I mentioned in my last video that this weekend I had some baking to do and I promised I would film it. So that is what we're doing today. A few things to cover. First of all, the background noise. I apologise. We recently got a new washer dryer and I absolutely love it, but the dryer is on right now, so if you can hear any kind of swashing in the background, that is what that noise is. Secondly, yes, I am in my pyjamas and I plan to stay in my pyjamas. It is Saturday, we have nowhere to be, and my hair is in dire need of a wash, so once I finish getting all messy and cakey, I do plan to jump straight in the shower. So yeah, pyjamas it is. Anyway, I've got all of my ingredients out. I actually spent yesterday rejigging the kitchen countertops a little bit just to give me this whole space. This is where the air fryer was, so I've moved a few things around so I can actually have all of this space to work with. And then I've got my stand mixer over on the opposite side, so I'm going to be kind of working between the two sides of the kitchen. But I also figured that by having my station here, it's much better for you to be able to actually see what I'm doing, because in a small kitchen, I think UK kitchens in general, it's not very often you get a kitchen island or a breakfast bar or anything you can work with to make it easy to film in the kitchen. So I think this works for now. Anyway, I'm going to be baking 2 lots of cake today. First is for my niece's birthday cake, which I need to have ready for Monday. I'll be decorating that one tomorrow, and that is going to be it's going to be a vanilla sponge. So really easy recipe. You guys have seen me do it a million times before. And while that is baking, I'm actually going to be making Avery's cake layers, and I'm going to be doing red velvet, which I've not done in a long time, so it takes a little bit more work. There's a little bit more of a process than regular sponge cake, but I figured whilst I've got all the ingredients out, I might as well get it done and then pop the layers in the freezer and then defrost them when I need to decorate it for her birthday, because her birthday is the week after next, which is just scary. But anyway, I'm going to crack on and make the vanilla sponge. Like I said, you guys have seen me do it a million times before, so I don't think you need a recap. But ingredients wise, it's literally just flour, eggs, caster sugar and butter, and some people use a certain amount of eggs for sort of whatever batch they're making. I like to weigh my eggs so that I'm using the exact same amount in weight as I am the rest of the ingredients. So I'll be using 500 grams of everything, and yeah, I'll catch up with you once I've got the batter done. So I've got my cake batter, and to make this a little bit more exciting, I think what I'm actually going to do is make the sponges on this cake pink, because the frosting on the outside is mostly white, so I want to add a little bit of colour. I think my stand mixer's on its way out. It keeps kind of going up and down in speed when I'm not changing the setting, which is quite annoying. I also think my scales are running out of battery, so it's all happening. And I also think I should have sifted my flour, because I'm guessing it got a little bit stuck together in the jar, because it's a tiny bit clumpy and I can see a few flour lumps, which isn't ideal. Because they will show in the cake, but we're gonna hope for the best. I've got Colour Mills raspberry here, so I'm just gonna pop a few drops in at a time and kind of eyeball the colour. I'm also a little bit concerned that this batter is going to be over mixed with me trying to get all these lumps out. So not doing great at the minute, but once again, we're just gonna hope for the best. So I've got my cake batter in the tins. It's a nice light pink colour. Let's see what it comes out like. Once it's baked, I'm going to pop these in the oven. And since it's like 2 layers in one tin, I'm probably going to pop them on for about 40 minutes. So the cakes are baking in the oven. I've just checked them. They are not quite done yet. They need another sort of 10 to 20 minutes. But I'm cracking on with Avery's red velvet cake. So the recipe that I've kind of adapted from is one from BBC Good Food. There are some other really good ones out there. Cupcake Gemma on YouTube does a really, really good one as well. But I have had to adapt it a little bit, because I'm doing 6-inch cakes for this instead of 8-inch, but I'm also doing 3 6-inch cakes. But I only have 2 tins, so I've had to halve the recipe for 2 of my tins, and then once they're done I will quarter the recipe for my last tin. The reason I'm doing that is because I want Avery's cake to be tall. So in this bowl so far I've got 150 ml of vegetable oil and 200 ml of buttermilk. The buttermilk I did just make myself, so if you can't find it in the shop as buttermilk, you can just make it with room temperature milk and lemon juice. I have got some vanilla in here as well. I did just eyeball that. So now I'm going to add some water. So I need 50 ml of water. So that will just be grams, because for water grams and mil is the same. And now I'm going to add 2 large eggs. I'm not going to lie, I've never made red velvet from this recipe before. I've made it from Cupcake Gemma's recipe, not this one, so this is a bit of a risk and I'm hoping it turns out okay. And now into the wet mixture I'm going to add the food colouring. So I'm using Extra Red by Sugar Flare. I definitely recommend using a paste if you're going to make red velvet cake. Apparently the person who came up with the recipe for red velvet cake actually had a food colouring manufacturing business, and he needed a way to get people to buy more food colouring, and back then you had to use a lot more food colouring because there weren't like concentrate pastes like this. So he made the cake so people would buy more food colouring. That is a fact I learned from Cupcake Gemma, but you don't need too much of this food colouring for the cake to turn red. And now I'm going to pop this onto my stand mixer to whisk. So as you can see, that has turned very, very red. So now I'm going to add my dry ingredients, and in here I have flour, salt, baking powder, brown sugar and cocoa powder. It is plain flour. This recipe doesn't use self-raising flour, but it does use both raising agents. It uses both baking powder and bicarb, so that's kind of where the rise will come from. You'll also notice that there's no butter in this recipe, so there's no kind of fluffing up, which gets, you know, a lot of kind of height in your cake as well. So I don't expect these cakes to be that tall, which is another reason why I wanted to make 3 separate sponges. But I am just going to add the wet ingredients into the dry ingredients, or the other way around, and mix it all together. Probably going to do half and half, just so I can make sure I can get it all incorporated. So that's all mixed together, looking lovely and red. Now in here I've got a teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda, and I'm going to add a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. I'm going to mix those together and then add them straight into the batter. The reason why I'm doing it separately is because when these react together, they will foam and fizz. So I'm just mixing those together and adding them straight into the batter. This will add a nice tangy taste to the red velvet. And I'm just going to mix that through the batter really quickly. And now I'm just going to pop this batter into my 2 cake tins. It is quite a runny batter, this one, so I'm just going to try and do it as evenly as possible and without making too much of a mess. So I've just popped them both onto a baking tray because I don't want it to leak out of the bottom of the pan, because these have loose bottoms. It can sometimes happen. So I'm just going to pop these 2 in the oven now. My other cakes are pretty much done, so they can come out. So I'm not too sure where I learned this tip. It was online somewhere, but basically what I like to do once the cakes come out of the oven is straight away flip them onto a piece of baking paper. That just helps kind of lock in the moisture. Obviously while they're still hot they're going to be steamy, so while they're upside down like that, it's helping to lock in all of that steam and moisture and keep cakes from drying out, and so far it has worked really, really well. So it is the next day and we're gonna carry on with getting this cake finished today. The layer's baked okay. I quite like the colour, it's a nice pink. What I will say is yeah, the flour didn't mix in as well as I would have liked. If I'd have known it was going to be all clumped like that, then I would have sifted it, but it's still okay. I've leveled all of my cake layers. I've got my sugar syrup ready. I have a double batch of Russian buttercream here. I do have another block of butter over there just in case I need to make up any more, but I'd rather make up less than needed than too much. What I am going to do before I start though is I'm just going to take a little bit of this out and I'm going to melt some white chocolate and mix that in, and I'm going to use that to fill and potentially crumb coat the cake so that it's a nice white chocolate flavoured buttercream. So this cake is going to be a Lambeth cake. I'll leave an image on screen of what my guide is. This is a picture that my sister-in-law sent me and I'm trying to recreate it. I've never done a cake like this before. My piping is not the best, so I'm just really hoping this goes well. I've been watching a lot of YouTube tutorials, so wish me luck. Good morning guys, it is Wednesday morning. We are smack bang in the middle of half term. House is quite quiet at the moment because the boys are upstairs playing and Josh just took Avery to B&M because he's got a few things to pick up. So I pretty much have a little bit of time to myself, and this week and last week actually I've been focusing on the kitchen. So what I've spent some time doing over the last week is getting it all painted. You might not notice much of a difference between the colour on the walls and the colour it was before. When we moved in it was standard magnolia, and I've painted it in Dulux Timeless because that is the paint colour that we put in the entryway, which kind of connects to the kitchen. It's also the same colour we had for the kind of stairs and landing and entryway to the front door as well. So I figured there was no point in making it complicated with lots of different colours. Timeless is a really nice off-white and I feel like it looks nice in any room. It is matte emulsion. I was kind of hoping to go for the kitchen and bathroom paint for the kitchen, but it's really expensive. Dulux is really expensive. It's definitely worth paying the extra because you can definitely tell the difference in how many coats you need to do, but it's very, very expensive. But anyway, I still have a few more plans in the kitchen. First being, one of the issues that we have is where we've placed our breakfast bar, which is just here. We were getting a lot of kind of food splashback here, especially with the boys. So I thought I would buy some of the peel and stick backsplash to pop up there so that it's easily wipeable. I bought it on Amazon. I'm impressed with it so far. It looks nice. I haven't put it up yet. I don't really know how well it's going to stick to paint. I've used I've used stick-on tiles before, but over previous tiles, so they stuck really well. so I'll see what they're like. But that is one of my jobs for today. Another one is I kind of want to get the house clean this morning. I obviously need to get myself dressed because I'm not dressed yet, but I was going to say it's still quite early, but it's actually 10 past 10. I need to get dressed and sort myself out. And then I think we may pop into town after Avery's next feed. We got a few slips through the door for our local McDonald's for kind of like deals, so we figured we might treat the boys to a McDonald's maybe. But that is all dependent on if I can get my to-do list done. So yeah, I need to get myself sorted. I need to get the house clean and see if I have the time to pop on these stick-on tiles. Other plans I have for the kitchen, I have ordered 2 shelves, a set of shelves to go above the breakfast bar. I ordered them from Pipe Dreams Furniture, which is the same place that I got this piece of wood for the breakfast bar. So it's stained in the same colour, so it will all look nice and cohesive. And it was customizable, so I picked the size. So I ended up going for, I think, 80 centimeters long. I thought like any wider than that and it would have just, I didn't want it to look as big or bigger than the breakfast bar. I wanted it to look kind of considerably smaller, and I think they are 19.5 centimeters deep. So once again, they're not as deep as the breakfast bar, and they're 3 centimeters. I feel like I've completely messed that up. So the length is 80, the width is 19.5, and the depth is 3 centimeters. So once again, they're not as deep as the breakfast bar as well. So they'll basically just look like smaller versions of the breakfast bar would. I also ordered the brackets from Pipe Dreams Furniture as well. They are more expensive on Pipe Dreams Furniture, but I wanted to make sure that it was going to be a flush fit. So I've ordered 2 to kind of go there, and then the backsplash will go along there. So I'm hoping that this space will look really nice. I am still trying to figure out what I want to go here. So this is above our cooker, and normally we would have an extractor fan up here. There's so much white on white that it's not even focusing. We already have a kind of like extractor fan in the side of the room, so the council has said we don't necessarily need an extractor fan there. And we don't really, I mean, we were going to buy one just so that we had something to fill that space, but I don't really want to spend that much money just to have an ornament that looks like an extractor fan, basically. So I'm trying to come up with ideas in what I can put in that space, because it is quite a big blank space. I don't want to put shelves up. I mean, I would love to have shelves there. I think it would look really nice, but it's right above the cooker, so the wood would bow and they'd end up really greasy. I was thinking maybe a picture, like a big frame, something that I can take down and, you know, wipe off every now and again. But I don't know. So if you guys have any ideas, please let me know. But I think that's all the plans for the kitchen so far. I was considering maybe doing like the kind of DC fix, the kind of sticky back plastic hack on the worktops. I'm still considering that, but I think I'm just going to get the shelves up and leave it at that for a bit, live with it for a bit and see how I like it. I would eventually also like to put blinds up in the window, because the window is not in the best condition, and blinds might help cover that. But the main jobs really are the shelves, and then I think I'll be happy with the way it is for now. But yeah, I'm gonna go and get myself dressed before Josh and Avery come back and give the house a quick clean, and then hopefully we will have the time to pop into town and get the boys out of the house. Evening guys, it is a couple of days later. We ended up having a really lovely day the other day. Like I said, we went into town and we took the boys to McDonald's, which of course they enjoyed. And then we actually went for frozen yogurt because my brother and sister-in-law recommended it. So I really wanted to try it, and oh my goodness, it was really, really good. And did a little bit of wandering around the shops. I picked up some leggings for Avery for school. And yeah, we popped in to see my brother and sister-in-law on the way home and then came home. So we were out for pretty much all of the afternoon, and it was nice to be out of the house. Avery was as good as gold. Yeah, it was really nice. And then today we had to pop out again. We had to go to B&Q for a couple of bits and pop into a couple of other shops. So it's been like a couple of days worth of errands. I did manage to get the backsplash up, as you would have seen. What I will say though, it's really tricky to put up because it's so sticky if you make one mistake, especially since I was putting it over a painted wall. If I needed to lift it to kind of readjust it, all I did was pull up the paint. So it's not perfect, but I think it's okay, and I definitely think it'll look just fine once the shelves are up. They haven't arrived yet, but I'm hoping they will soon. But I thought I would close this vlog out now, just so that I can get it edited and hopefully up for you by this weekend. I'm trying to upload a video a week, but as you can probably tell, it's quite a scramble to get them edited and uploaded. I'm a little bit behind, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed spending a few days with us and getting back into the cake making. I'm really, really excited for the fact that there's so many birthdays coming up now, because I am really looking forward to that. In the next video, hopefully you will see me making Avery's cake, or decorating it anyway. So yeah, stay tuned for that one, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye guys.